stories.
Did you ever find the pineapple?
Haircut.
Oh, yeah, I know what they're talking about. We're not gonna.
He always has access to it.
Well, I know. Yes, but did they put it on their show?
They did not. No.
Okay.
They just talked about it.
Yeah. Just still. More.
Yeah, it's pretty. That was part of my Deacon roast, wasn't it? Yeah. So, graduating high school and college seniors can get a dozen free Krispy Kreme donuts tomorrow.
I'm gonna graduate college.
Actually,
Sorry. Yeah. I'm something. That's for sure.
It is the 100th birthday of John Paul II today.
What? That's right, May 18th. Hey, today's my 1-year anniversary of deaconness.
Hey, yeah. When is your priesthood anniversary, by the way? We talked about this.
Me?
Yeah.
25th.
Because certainly not him, because he's in the negatives.
Wait a minute, so.
You're like negative 5 days.
Yours is Deacon is May 18th
Oh.
also? Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think your deacon was
It is
good.
minus 19.
That's right. You're all Catholic-y today.
Yep.
That's true.
Oh, are we on?
Yes, we are.
Shoot, I was just walking around.
Well, that's right. We're not on until 10.
Can they hear us too?
Yep.
Yes.
Anyone that's there, at least. Oh my.
Oh my. Oh. Look at this. Watch instead. Oh,
Are you serious? Oh my god. I mean, I've seen things like that, but that's way. He had to know. He had to know.
Do you think he'd break his TV like that?
I just
Look at. Oh man.
I've seen, people like good stories or whatever. We have to. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Zero reports. talk about my fear of VR because I always have a fear of VR. That's one thing I also want to know about Fresca. The dearth of Fresca in the world. How's my makeup, guys?
Everybody, you look hideous.
Okay.
You can probably talk about your news, can't you, Anthony?
Oh yes, I actually could. I don't have any platform to publicize it on my assignment.
Oh yeah, totally. Would you do that?
I've just been texting. I've been texting family and telling people at the grocery store. And
There's a lot of news you can talk about.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have a baby.
Not even. Not even. I don't think there's anyone on, so that's good. Oh, there's two people
I
watching.
think you're crooked, Mr. Camera. This camera's.
Father Kent was pretty proud of it.
I know, that's why I'm kind of confused.
What's that?
Is the angle right on the camera? Did you mess with the angle on the camera, or did you just mess with the color? On the ash cam. Have you just messed with the color or the angle?
Color.
Okay, I'm gonna mess with the angle. I didn't want to do your work.
It's alright. I'm used to having my work undone. Usually good.
I don't know how to take that. Okay.
I'm gonna mess with your color now.
Fine with
Go
me.
25.
Acesulfame potassium.
Look at this. Check this out. Some pictures.
What are you doing?
She says, I want that in my living room.
Is that your sister?
Yeah.
Or- okay, cool.
Oh my goodness. Apparently there's peanut butter in Fresca. That can't be right. It's really weird. How is that right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got my O'Connor one if I want to switch over here.
Oh. Can I see that crest? Is that just an O'Connor or is this your O'Connor?
I think that's the O'Connor.
Well-
O'Connor.
Is that a metal boot? What is that? Or a hat? Looks like a metal something.
I don't know. I've actually never looked at it that closely. I forget
Your
where it
own coat of arms.
Oh.
That's too bad.
Lions.
I've done a minimal amount of research into family heritage and coat of arms. I'd like to do more. Or
The
have
Murph
someone
man.
else do more and tell me.
Carbonate water, citric acid, concentrated
Why-
grapefruit juice.
Why are these silly? Is there one if there's a way to turn off these stupid captions?
I don't know.
It didn't used to do that.
I didn't. It must be an update.
My mom emailed me yesterday. For some reason it was an email. I think it's because it was long. And someone asked her if I was going to go by Father Anthony or Father Mersman. And so she was like, I was thinking about it, and here's my thoughts. So she talked about how good of a name Anthony is, but then she talked about the family history with Grostidir and Mersman, and gave some heritage with like relatives of mine that have been clergy or religious. And she was like, I'm just saying, I think Father Mersman's gonna encourage a lot more good conversations.
Okay.
And I was like, thanks, Ma.
There we go.
Rather than Father Anthony?
Yeah. Like, Mersman, where's that from? And I'll be like, Germany.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting take.
That's what she said, and I was like, I can see that.
People always want to know about Ashmore.
Where is it?
But it's English.
Okay.
People always wonder, but it literally just means that we lived at the moor by the ash trees. That's all it means.
Oh. Yeah, Mausman is man of the sea.
What?
Or like swamp.
Ooh, interesting. So you lived at the swamp and I lived in the moor.
Nice. We've been connected for so long.
Yeah.
What's your question with this?
I'm looking at the color on Facebook's.
Oh.
Facebook lightens it up a little bit, so.
Because I can unbrighten it. I can de-brighten a little bit more. All right. Well.
In fact, I was thinking the opposite. It seems too dark to me,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. You're very welcome. Was that?
Well, this is the normal camera right now.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. We will.
Dum, dum, dum.
Oh. YouTube is frozen. I don't know why you're frozen.
Refresh the page.
Maybe.
Yeah. We're not frozen. In fact, I am the perfect temperature right now.
It is a very wonderful crispness.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the fireside chat, and there he is. He's revealed behind the splash scene again with Deacon Anthony Mersman. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm officially no longer a special guest, I think. This
You are an official host
a normal...
for this week, but only for this week because something happens to you in how many days?
4 and change.
4 and change. He will no longer be a deacon. Well, he still will be a
He
deacon.
will be
I'll be a deacon
changed.
plus a priest.
A plus, the big
I'm gonna-
old plus.
I'm gonna lighten up the
comes.
color.
All right.
And I'm stoked.
Yeah, maybe it is too dark. You're right. It looked really bright before, so that's why.
It could be light into the window.
It's not doing the automatic thing, is it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because we didn't use our blankets today. Because it's not very sunshiny out today. It's kind of. How do you feel about this weather here, Father Ashmore? What?
You know how I feel. You're just setting me up. I love it.
Well, it's not rainy exactly, but
No, it was rainy though.
okay.
Yesterday, no. A few days ago, I went on a walk at like 11 o'clock at night, maybe 10 o'clock at night, always hoping that I'm not considered a creeper. No, it's too bright. 1 second.
Oh, Father Ashmore.
I'm sorry.
You dog.
Well, see, yeah, we need like a 0.35.
There we go.
So you went for a walk.
And it started raining, and I kept walking because it was wonderful. I love walking in the rain.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much I like walking in the rain, especially the cold rain. The summer rain might be okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it was kind of warm, I guess, that night.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Well, welcome everybody to the fireside chat. How you doing? How was your weekend? We are here for you, and hopefully the sound is okay now.
So, Father Ken, I have a problem.
Yes.
I'm really upset by it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait.
Oh,
So, what's that?
sorry, we had someone share that the cooking show inspired her
Yeah.
son to make some guacamole.
Isn't that great?
No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. Love it.
It was Deacon Merson's guacamole. Deacon Merson has some great guacamole. We had a cooking show on VIA yesterday.
So Via's the junior high youth group.
Exactly. And so we had about 10 students come and join us. And Deacon Merson and I, well, it was the first time.
Getting ahead of
Deacon
yourself.
Merson and I cooked baked chicken and twice baked potatoes, guacamole. And
So you baked the chicken once, but the potatoes twice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Then we made as a dessert, which was my excuse. It was my excuse to teach him how to make whipped cream. We just took pound cake and then put whipped cream on top of pound cake and put berries on top of it.
Sliced the pound cake, laid it out flat.
Yeah. Oh, we circled it up in a certain way and then put the
Yeah.
berries in the middle so it looked like a inside-out donut. So I called it the donut.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Scooped a little bowl in the middle to put berries in.
and then Merson here did something amazing. What did you do, Merson?
Made a little raspberry reduction type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I squeezed all the raspberry through a sieve to get the juices out and the solid pieces not in. I don't know if that makes sense. But I made a raspberry sauce to drizzle on top, but I let it reduce too much. It got a little bit too thick. And instead of being a cool drizzle on top, it was just like blobs on top.
What did you say at first glance? You looked at it. Well, that more reminds me of a
Disease or something like that?
Oh, yeah, like a disease under a microscope or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was a delicious disease.
And it's not on the counter. Does that mean there's no way it was finished?
It's in the fridge. It has whipped
Okay.
cream in it, so
Okay.
I wanted to. Yeah. So yesterday turned out really well. In the future, what we'll do is we'll put the recipes for the things we're going to make beforehand, and then the students. I'll try to give parents 3 to 5 days beforehand to be able to get the supplies and whatnot, and the students can make it with us. This was the first time that we did this particularly with a different setup and all, so I didn't want to do too much at once. So first time it was just us cooking. The next time it will be myself cooking while I'm also leading the students doing their own recipes too. So
Boom.
it'll be exciting.
That's great.
So back to why I'm mad.
Well, you hadn't said you were mad. You said you had a problem.
I'm okay. You're right. Why I'm sad.
Why
now
are you sad?
all kinds of these emotions are coming
There's
out.
so
You got
many
a
emotions in
problem,
me.
Why
He's
are you
mad.
sad?
He's sad.
It's very upsetting. Every time I go to the store, with my mask on, of course, I go down to the soda aisle, and I try to find cans of Fresca,
It's okay, Father.
and they don't have cans of Fresca. None of the stores have cans of Fresca right now. It's really upsetting.
These first world problems that you're having here, Father Ashmore.
No, this is sincere difficulty.
Was there a run on Fresca, like with the toilet paper?
I don't know. It would make sense because Fresca is the most delicious of all soda water things.
I'm not sure if I agree with you there, but it is refreshing. That's
It's
true.
refreshing. It's like it's a midpoint between sparkling water and soda. It's got no sugar in it. It has all that cancer sugar in it.
It's got
really-
fake sugar.
Oh, okay. Got
it's
cancer
got-
sugar.
Yeah, cancer sugar in it. You only live once. So
Maybe for a shorter period of time, apparently.
Doesn't Paul say that he preferred to be on the other side?
And he was talking about drinking a lot of Fresca.
We all wish to be at home with the body, or we're here with the body, or whatever that is. Yeah.
But they don't have any at this Hy-Vee, at Shawnee Hy-Vee. They don't have any at the Hy-Vee in Lenexa at 87th. My friends, a couple priest friends and I went to go buy some Fresca the other day at the Price Chopper over by Curie of Ours. No Fresca there.
That is
Maybe they're not making Fresca anymore.
very weird.
Maybe it's
They-
been canceled.
I will weep. I will weep.
It's like Crystal Pepsi.
Right, except delicious.
Yeah.
Well, they are also. I can't find the cans of the throwback Mountain Dew, which is my beverage of choice when I'm desperate for some caffeine. So
We have a few cans on the back porch.
I know, I forgot about those back there. They were out there when it was cold, and there was like automatic refrigeration. But I need to probably take those back inside before they get all weird. But Crystal Pepsi, thanks. I'm glad you got that reference there, Jimmy. Crystal Pepsi.
Wait, I don't think I've ever had any Crystal Pepsi. I
Well, you
Well, I remember-
you weren't alive.
No, I remember a throwback version of it or something they brought back when I was a kid. You
I've
remember
seen
that?
videos of people drinking really old Crystal Pepsi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The heck you say?
So was it tasty?
Yeah.
Well, according to Javine, she gave it an oi. I don't remember it being that bad, actually. I kind of tasted like Pepsi that was clear. So
Right.
I don't know why Coke has to be.
It's
Brown.
all it is caramel coloring, isn't it?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just sugar water. But
Right.
they've added caramel coloring and that sort of thing too.
So Yeah, I don't
Just
know.
Pepsi. Now, I've heard that.
I want to bring it back to the New Coke, though. We need to go back to New Coke.
Did you like New Coke?
I did like New Coke.
What's New Coke?
They offered it. You could buy it in a 6-pack for a Stranger Things throwback, like a year ago. But you can't buy it anymore. I don't think.
What's
It
New?
was a limited run.
What is New Coke?
You don't know about New Coke?
Oh, New Coke. It was all the
No.
rage in, I think, the
Oh my
late
goodness.
80s.
Ladies
They-
and gentlemen, let us begin to educate.
No, so they had the...
This is one of his signature moves. He does that.
So yeah, I think it must have been, I don't remember when New Coke came out, late 80s or something. And man, there was such there was uproar.
So actually, I read an article about this.
Okay, yes,
So-
in your history books.
Well, this was I think this was from Twitter. So connected from Twitter. So in the late 70s, Pepsi and Coke were having their great battle at that point, and Pepsi had been for a long period of time winning over Coke. Their sales were starting to supersede Coke. I think the average palate of the late 1970s, mid 80s was starting to prefer the sweeter flavor of Pepsi, whereas Coke has more of a savory flavor.
Yes.
Between the two.
Right. I've always been pro Pepsi.
I understand.
Carry on.
I like each one on its own day, but so the Coke executive said, "Hey, we can't let Pepsi win out." So what they did is they reformulated the ingredients so that it had more of a not necessarily Pepsi-like flavor, but that it hit same spots that Pepsi hit in the palate. So they started selling it. People loved it, but then this one guy, this one guy. I don't know what his name was. This one guy hated it and started essentially going on all these news stations talking about how he used to have like 3 Cokes a day and he's not going to buy Coke any longer, and he made an anti-Coke run, anti-New Coke run.
Really?
Absolutely. I don't know what his name was. And within, I don't know, what was it, a few months, something like that, he had single-handedly taken down New Coke.
Wow.
And if you look back to it, it's just one guy.
How do you
who's-
not know his name?
I don't know.
What an accomplishment!
I know.
But I bet you someone here can Google that for
Infamous.
us. Infamous,
The
yes.
man
see.
who took down New
New
Coke
Coke,
ruined it for Father Kent.
man.
No, I like New Coke better. And then it used to be called Coca-Cola Classic for a long time, because they sold them concurrently. They sold them at the same time.
That's concurrently.
Okay, great.
Good word.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I sometimes have a word. So they sold them concurrently, Coca-Cola Classic and New Coke, and then they finally phased out New Coke.
Here we go. It was from Mother Jones. It's called New Coke Didn't Fail. It was murdered. Yeah.
It was murdered.
Wow.
Who murdered New Coke?
What is his name? So the thing about it was, Coke knew what they were doing. When they reformulated it, everybody who taste tested it preferred New Coke over Coke Classic. But then this guy, whatever his name is,
Maybe his name's been stricken from all records.
I was like, I got to get to the point where they're talking about the murder.
It's like Foyle.
I know,
Detective
it's true.
Foyle over here looking for...
Them.
Anyway, then
I'm
Father
fine.
Rick Halverson, before he was a priest, he used to work for Coca-Cola, and he was 1 year behind me in the ordination, and so we would often have, because I was pro Pepsi, he was pro Coke, because he was a long time.
Yeah, he worked for them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so he was like, no, you can't drink Pepsi. I'm like,
Cannot do
"I
it."
like-" Yeah. But and so we went to India together actually, and there's a picture of us. We found a spot where they were selling the Coke and the Pepsi, and we both have a bottle of our beverage. I'm like,
Nice.
Pepsi. And he's like, Coke.
Does Pepsi have that like vintage sign following or market like Coca-Cola does? Like, there's people who dedicate a lot of time to
That's
the
true.
vintage Coke, like coolers and signs. Is there a thing like that for Pepsi?
That's I don't think so.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The guy's name. This is the guy. His name was Gay Mullins.
Gay Mullins.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
He took down Coca-Cola.
He single-handedly
He doesn't-
started
took down New Coke.
He doesn't look like someone who would maliciously murder New Coke, but
Well, I mean,
He
it's
did.
probably a recent photo. Maybe in his,
Right.
in his younger
Well,
days,
I think-
he was a
so
had a more
he-
murderous face.
It's a good point.
maybe he used to look for murderous.
He looked like someone.
But the
kill
interesting
a
thing,
soda.
The interesting thing is that after they made it Coke Classic again, he started complaining that they didn't go back to the old real sugar Coke recipe, saying that was actually what made him sick. And so the thing is, apparently he didn't even really like Coke. He thought Coke made him sick, and this was all a big marketing scheme for him. I don't know how it all worked, but it was murdered
What the heck?
by this guy who didn't even like Coke.
I wonder if Pepsi paid him to do it.
Well, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was a operative for Pepsi.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's interesting.
Isn't that fascinating?
Well, I always prefer the real sugar ones rather than the high fructose corn syrups. That's why I like the Mountain
Right.
Dew, the classic
Throwback,
one,
yeah.
the throwback.
So
Or
I'm
the
going
Coke in the
to
glass bottle.
Yes, the Mexican Coke, as they sometimes call it.
Yeah,
I'm going
Pepsi
to link
glass
to
bottle.
this in the comments because it's a very fascinating little article.
Cool.
That's a good move. Keeping them, yeah.
MotherJones.com/2019-07. What if we've all been wrong about what killed New Coke?
Boom.
Was New Coke murdered, or they just canned the idea?
Yeah.
Love
You're-
it.
Go away.
That was
love it.
decent. That was
That
pretty
was
good.
That was good. I will give that a laugh
Mhm.
over here. Ha ha. So there we go. New Coke was horrible, says John. Yeah.
But the thing is, when they did the studies, people either couldn't tell the difference between New Coke and Old Coke, or they preferred New Coke. Almost nobody preferred Old Coke when they did the actual test studies of everything.
Lori says that there's no canned diet squirt.
That would be upsetting too.
Oh,
They're very similar. They're like cousins, Squirt
Yeah.
and Fresca.
Hmm.
But Fresca is more delicious, of course. But
Yeah, that's really weird that they. Those
what is going on?
not very commonly
I think
consumed. canned
Janine had a good
beverages.
idea that perhaps people are making mixed drinks out of them.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Well, there's a website I caught wind of. I haven't used it, but you can tell your website what type of alcohols and mixers and like fruits you have in your cupboards, and then it will give you every drink you can make with those.
That's fascinating.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's just what that reminded me of.
Huh. Well, I'll be.
I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
But
What does Carrot say to us today? Does Carrot have a nice message for us?
Probably not.
So Carrot is his weather app, and it's his snarky weather app that yells at him every day.
he's always got the hip apps. He had Waze before that was a thing.
I don't even know what Waze is.
It's what all the Uber drivers use. It's got like live updates, and people can tell everyone else that there's a cop somewhere. And
Not many times have I been called hip in my life, but this is one of them. Okay.
I said he has
It just
the
says
hip
the sun is
apps.
playing hooky today.
The sun is playing hooky today. That's not
Nothing-
that's
that's
not
not
almost as
snarky.
clever that
No.
yeah, that hip
Yeah.
app is not very hip.
Yeah.
Mhm. Sometimes it's very clever. Other times it likes to get political. Sometimes too.
Oh.
That's always amusing. So.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It blames the weather often on some of the main political parties. So-
Really?
Yeah, exactly. So it's overcast today because of Trump, or it's overcast today because of Nancy Pelosi, or things like that.
That's
so.
cute.
Mhm.
It's Obama. It was
Mhm.
Trump.
Mhm.
So we had an exciting weekend. We had our first weekend with people
We did.
actually at
Mhm.
Mass. So that was we haven't had that for months.
Mhm.
And
We had
today's
first
morning
meetings.
mass was actually pretty well popular.
It was,
I thought.
yeah.
Mhm.
We had
Yeah.
probably 40 people there this morning. I didn't get a
It was
count.
awesome.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Maintaining social distancing and everything. Try to be very careful. You were the special Eucharistic minister today.
Yes, I was. Pinch, minister of Holy Communion.
That's right.
Yes.
So we were trying to be very careful, and so like when we distribute communion, if we come into contact, we're really strongly encouraging people to receive in the hand. But this is an interesting thing: we can't actually ban people from receiving on the tongue. People have a right to receive on the tongue if they want to. So,
Right.
I think, what's my standard line?
This is my first
It
pandemic.
came with the house.
It came with
That one too. But I think Archbishop, it's his first pandemic too. So I think. You might recall in the very beginning they banned reception on the tongue, but on further reflection, he realized I really probably can't do that. So we all kind of live and learn. But anyway, some people aren't really excited about that. That we still distribute on the tongue, but we actually can't do that. That has to come from the Pope himself. But you were the special. I can't come up with a better term for it. But
Tongue
The
minister.
tongue minister.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good term.
It sounds like
I'm
tongue
not
depressor.
distributing tongues.
Tongue depressor.
But yeah, so that's a special person that people would go to. It's a designated person for each mass, and the minister has to purify his hands in between each person too. So that's part of what we're doing. But it was a good crowd today.
We had, yeah.
But and yeah, if we make an incidental contact with the hand, we need to purify our hands too. So try to be very careful about those kinds of things. But this past weekend, we had our first communions, and Miguel Hernandez and his team did a stellar job of
It
organizing
went
it.
really well.
Yeah, because I haven't been this nervous for mass for quite some time,
Oh,
actually.
really?
Well,
Oh.
I know, yeah, well, yeah, because I was like, there's actually gonna be people here. What do we do? And is it gonna work? How do we distribute communion? Is it gonna be safe? All those kind of things. And but Miguel had it really well organized. People maintained space, and so we had 9 or 10 for each of the Spanish and English masses, and so there's probably 80 to 100 people at mass for the two masses, I think. So
Yeah.
but I thought it was went really, really smoothly, and so we're gonna be doing that for the next 2 weekends, and then we're still trying to figure out where to go from there. We're gonna have further conversations of what do we do after the whatever that is, the 31st, whatever
Right.
that Sunday is.
Right.
So
31st is Pentecost.
it is.
Yes. It's true.
Sorry, I'm just throwing out some facts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
31st is the last day of the month.
and I was able to do mass with the help of the musicians and everything. I got done in 41 minutes. So if you think, man, Father Kent goes on too long, I can do it. I can speak fast. I can do those things. I don't particularly like to, but I can. So didn't chant anything, didn't
This is true.
just spoke the Our Father, spoke the Eucharistic prayer on a lickety split pace. So I can do those things. But again, the rule is that we have to have mass is supposed to be 45 minutes or less. But also what we're doing at the English Mass, at least, and I think we're going to plan to do this for the coming future, is having a postlude concert after Mass to really let the musicians play and sing for a while afterwards. After people will leave the church and everything, but then for the online community, because that was a comment that I was hearing from both musicians and some people that have been enjoying the online masses. They've been enjoying the music and everything, and Raffaele has done a great job getting the sound all balanced correctly, and people have been enjoying our concerts. The musicians have been a little bit frustrated that they can't do it. We can't do any congregational singing. We can't.
Yeah, I accidentally started singing during the 10 o'clock mass yesterday.
I did too.
Afterwards, out of penance, I knelt on glass for an hour.
It was just a pane of glass.
That was good.
But so anyway, to kind of let the musicians loose a little bit, they're going to do. The original thought was like 1 or 2 songs, but they did 4 or 5, 6 songs. But it was great, and because Mass got done so early and didn't conflict at all with the 12:15 Mass, and so they had plenty of time to set up, and we were done. We had Mass done and a little postlude concert by 11:03.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the Spanish mass only took 43 minutes, did you say?
Yeah, it was incredible.
Which, for the Spanish masses, as people I'm sure are aware, or if you're not aware, you will be aware now, Spanish masses tend to take a little longer.
they do.
And it's just a combination of factors that make it take a little longer. But often our 12:15 mass, before the quarantine, would take an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, hour 15 probably
15
is
minutes, yeah.
standard.
So, but this one took 43 minutes.
Yeah, you were
We
You were
got
going.
Mm-hmm.
The Gloria for some reason always seems to take a long time in the Spanish Mass.
Gloria al Dios.
Uh-huh.
It goes on.
It does. So, but yeah, and then just sometimes communion takes a little bit longer, it seems like, or whatever. But it's but anyway, we were able to do it in 45 minutes or less. So that'll be our plan going forward. We don't know exactly again what we're going to be doing henceforth. Some people have expressed various concerns, and so we're taking all those things into consideration. We're just kind of seeing how things go for the first weekend or two, and then we'll reassess. We don't have any other further First Communion masses scheduled, so people might be asking, well, and I saw some comments of, well, when are the next ones? Well, after the 31st, we don't have anything scheduled because we're still trying to see that. And confirmation, we have no plans yet for what we're doing for confirmation. We're trying to get First Communion kind of started and maybe get a lot of those done. But I do have the authority. I do have the power. I could do the confirmations. Our Archbishop has given that to us specially this year, and we could kind of spread them out. We might do that. We haven't exactly figured that out, but I can't really imagine doing a confirmation mass in 45 minutes. So, and so you have some news then also. So it was a big weekend also for priests making announcements to their parishes this past weekend of where they're going to be going, and so that's all, I think, pretty much public information now. People are posting it on Facebook, and I didn't announce anything because I'm not going anywhere, so that's good. And you didn't, I presume you're not going anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah, you mentioned at Mass today that no changes here.
So
Yeah.
great. So I'm happy to be here for another year, and hopefully be here for several years. I really enjoy being a Good Shepherd. But one of the most exciting moments in a early priest life is the moment of receiving their first assignment. So
Yeah, and Archbishop told me a week ago today, but I haven't been able to tell anyone until I got my letter. But then he's given my classmate Deacon Travis and I permission to go ahead and tell people, because the Levin's going to have them on Friday, and I will be parochial vicar at Holy Cross in Overland Park and chaplain at Bishop Ward High School.
which
and
is an
I am
interesting combo.
thrilled.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll use my Spanish. I'll get to practice that. Yeah, I've visited Holy Cross a few times back when Father Anthony Psyche was parochial vicar there, and so I've served Mass in the church. I've seen the rectory. I'm very excited to work with the Hispanic and English speaking communities. Definitely.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Deacon Mersman, not quite Father Anthony Mersman, speaks very good Spanish. So we're excited to have him helping out with the Hispanic ministry and obviously the English ministry as well. But I mean, it's pretty much presumed that anyone who is ordained a priest in the Archdiocese of Kansas City, Kansas, speaks English. It's not necessarily presumed that they speak Spanish.
Correct. Yeah.
So-
I mean, hopefully we're going to have more and more people with the capabilities to speak Spanish. There's more of a focus on that now. But yeah, for the most part, it's still kind of a surprise that you speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that'll be a great gift. There's a great, obviously a great need, and we need many more priests to be doing that kind of thing. And
No doubt.
you will be, you will be the last priests. You'll be among the last priests to leave at the reconciliation services.
This is true.
What does that mean?
So then we have these
There's more
communal-
Spanish-speaking people.
Okay, Spanish. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, because I'm brand new and people don't know me, so they can go to confession. And have
No.
a long line. Okay.
No, but
Gotcha.
so
Gotcha.
yeah. So when we have our Advent. Well, normally we have Advent and Lent penance services, and the three Hispanic ministry parishes in Johnson County of Good Shepherd and Holy Cross and St. Paul. We all make sure that the Spanish speaking priests are assigned there for the services, and there's generally a large turnout at all of those. So the ones that
Awesome.
only speak English, the priests that only speak English, they're usually done earlier, and then we're usually there for a longer time because there's a great need for that, and fewer priests to do it. So we love having you as part of that. So yeah, Holy Cross, it's a great parish. I think I was there. I was sharing with Deacon Mersman. That was my first rectory that I lived in. So when I was just finishing my first year of seminary, I lived at Holy Cross for a summer, and so I lived there with Father Mark Murtis 21 years ago. So
Long time.
Dang.
yeah, 1999.
Mm-hmm. I was alive then. Don't worry.
I know. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, 99. Yes. Duh. See, I was going to make a joke about that being almost as long as I've been alive. And then when Father Ashmore said, I was alive then, I was like, what? You were? But
Math is hard.
it's sometimes I don't know stuff, but most of the time I do.
Yeah, it's a good location for that rectory and everything too. It's nice because it's right there by the church. I love this house; it's beautiful, and I love having a neighborhood. It's nice having neighbors and everything. But it's a little bit odd that we're not on the campus of the church itself. It's not a usual setup for a parish, but But again, it's a nice house. I like having the neighbors. Javine, it's good having you in the neighborhood. And all the rest of you. I don't know who else is watching it, but
You have stop signs at every 6 feet on the floor. We do too, don't we?
yeah, we have
Tape.
tape on the floor there. They had arrows.
We have tape.
Okay.
And keep distance from the priest.
Well, keep those in mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
good thoughts there, Ginger. Extend their arms out to keep distance. So were they walking like zombies, or what were they doing?
I don't know. That sounds awful.
Maybe. But thanks for all the congratulations and all the messages of excitement from all of you on the Facebook feed. That means a lot. I'm excited. I'm very excited to be a priest and everything that includes, but then specifically to be at Holy Cross and Bishop Ward for my first assignments.
Yeah, that'll be a great first assignment.
And this is the first time it's like been on a public platform. 'Cause I don't have any social media anymore. I might make a Facebook page after ordination, but the Levin was going to be the only like public announcement of it because I don't have a personal social media account. But
So you heard it here first, folks.
yeah, this
here
this fireside
on
chat.
Fireside Chat.
Boom.
We've had this banner up for a long time. I forgot to take the banner down, but
Oh,
now they can see our feet, I guess. But
very important. We all have feet, everyone.
ta-da!
Here's the first surprise of the day. I remember my dad talking about the nuns that used to work at his school, and when he was growing up, and he remembers having a conversation with another 8-year-old, trying to figure out whether or not they had feet or they had wheels under their habits, because they always seemed to glide everywhere.
That's awesome.
Well, Lisa, I don't know if you're begging this question out of me. What's something that you both learned during your first year as a priest that will carry you forever?
That's a good question. Yours must be entertaining.
Lisa, I learned don't double book yourself on a wedding. That's what I would really.
Okay.
Don't plan 2 weddings for the same time.
That's right.
Especially not for the same people, because they're going to be totally confused.
So that's an important lesson I learned in my first year.
How close to the date was it realized that there were 2 weddings scheduled?
I'm not sure. A few months out.
Okay, that's okay.
Well, yeah, it was a weird situation because I was a chaplain at Bishop Miege and a Curé of Ars, and I didn't realize. So my home parish, or where I did my first mass, was at St. Lawrence Campus Center.
Cool.
Okay, which is a chapel, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a parish, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have weddings there.
Yeah.
And baptisms.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have weddings at a chapel in a high school. In a Catholic high school.
Probably true, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's an important lesson to learn.
Boom. Yes.
So I did not have my system worked out. So there was a teacher at Bishop Miege that wanted to get married at Bishop Miege. And I said, great, sounds good. I'm from St. Lawrence, a chapel, cool, we can do that. That sounds great. Meanwhile, I had another couple at Curé of Ars that wanted to get married at the same time, and I didn't put my 2 calendars together, and so I had on the same date 2 different. So I had to
That is troublesome.
bring in someone else there. I was not going there. Yeah, it's a little bit of a. It's a. But yes, Lisa is a good friend of mine, and we go out to the. Yes, I've stayed in a closer. So I couldn't do their wedding because I had double booked myself. So, but she's a close friend of mine. And
is she one of them?
Yes,
she's one of them.
Right.
Oh,
so she's the one that
goodness.
asks. That's why I was laughing so hard. Is there anything you learned that is just like,
yeah.
are you egging me on?
Now it makes sense.
Yes.
Yes.
So we often go out. We go out and get fried pickles at the.
Hey, she said she wasn't going there. Did you already read that?
I did. Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm way behind.
Well, we go at the Westport Flea Market. They've got great burgers, and that's when I first encountered, I think, fried pickles, and we love fried pickles.
Fried pickles are delicious.
Those-
Fried mushrooms are actually better.
Done well. They gotta get done well though. Because Nicholas, Father Ashmore and I, we have an experience of not good fried pickles. at some place we both used to live. Remember pickle sticks for the appetizer
When was that?
at Kenrick?
Oh, those pickle sticks. Yeah, those aren't great. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to be
I
done.
forgot about those.
Oh, pickle sticks.
Pickle stick. Oh, pickle
Pickle
sticks.
sticks.
No, the fried pickles are better in slices rather than spears, and the Westport
Yeah.
Flea Market does spears.
And the ridgy ones too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they're good, but they're very hard to share a pickle. Like it's hard to cut a pickle in half.
Right, you get a lady in the tramp situation. It's very awkward.
I don't know why.
So,
You guys.
so Lisa and her husband Jason and Father Greg Hummus and I of Most Heart fame, right there, sometimes go over to the Westport Flea Market. We play some shuffleboard and have burgers. So
Is that the place that has a bunch of different, like, kind of beginning restaurants in the same building? No, the flea market. That's different. Father Strobel's brother runs this sandwich shop. It's in this. It's near Westport. It's in Kansas City, but it's this really big old factory where the main floor has like a bar and then a bunch of like garage doors with
Yes.
a counter.
yes,
Each one is a different restaurant trying to like start up.
well, the Westport Flea Market kind of used
Super
to
cool.
be like that, except for I think that they were like flea markets. And I think there were several different ones, if I recall. I think those, if I recall, those have now shut down. And it's now just the restaurant. But I don't remember. We never go to that part. We always just we got kind of our system. We go there we get our hamburgers and the hamburgers are great there. I think they have often won best in city. McGonagall's, they use McGonagall's meat. It's good stuff. And then we play shuffleboard as long as no one has taken.
Oh, the shuffleboard people. Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard about the shuffleboard.
Yeah, the shuffleboard people. You've heard of that probably from Father Greg.
Yep.
Uh-huh. So
Is that the broom thing or is that the
No.
sand pit thing?
no.
Where you throw. Which one is the one?
It's the-
Bocce ball is one thing.
Yeah, this is
you
a
think
big, long wooden table where you.
Oh, duh! It's got sand on the table.
It's got sand on the table. Yes, that's,
Yes,
that's a sand
cool.
connection. Uh-huh.
I'm okay at that. I'm decent.
I have
I had
good
a
days and bad
shuffleboard at
days.
Kenrick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. It's really fun.
There's an art to how much sand can be on the table. Because if there's too
There
little,
is.
doesn't work. If there's way too much, doesn't work.
Think
There
of it
is.
as
Isn't
Sahara
that true?
Desert.
Isn't that true there, Lisa? We've had our good days and our bad days there. Some days we were like on fire, and then some days not so much.
I'm very animated with my hands. I am seeing that more and more now that I'm watching myself almost live,
That's right.
and I'm surprised by that. But
So we can get back to the other question there about what's something. But first of all, is there an English Mass on Thursday for Ascension? No. So Ascension Thursday, it was a long time ago, about 20 years ago, I think, maybe longer, that we, most dioceses in the United States have transferred Ascension Thursday to the Sunday following. Some people don't really care for that, but it's been that way for a long time. So.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. So Ascension is celebrated on Sunday. The thought at the time was that many people were missing the celebration of Ascension, and so they transferred it so more people could celebrate. The tactic could have been, let's really push for getting people to come to Ascension, but that was not what was done. So
Right.
they moved it instead. So no Mass on Ascension Thursday. So other things I have learned. So
oh
other
no,
thi- well,
Ascension Mass, right?
you are Ascension Mass.
Yeah.
So you are coming upon your one-year ordination. Your
Yeah.
ordination date again is
May 25th.
May 25th.
That means he has what is today?
A week.
You have 1 week left of the really special blessings.
That's true.
First year blessing of a priest.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
So, the first year blessings of priests are indulgence. So if you want to receive an indulgence, a plenary indulgence, you can come and ask for my blessing as a priest, and I can give you one for 1 week. So, but about things that I've learned, there's a lot that I've learned. I'm trying to think of one thing, or even one. I mean, my first year as a priest has been very abnormal.
you think?
Yeah, very abnormal. So, one thing I learned is that you can operate a church without having your doors open.
You never would have thought that before.
No.
Never.
I think the thing that I've really enjoyed, or that I've discovered in a certain way, the depth of the ministry is, I've really come to see how important human interaction is as a priest. Just how important spending time outside of Mass with people is. That's something that I've always tried to do. I've always tried to be really available for dinners or spending time going out and getting ice cream with people, going just to somebody's home in order to get to know people. And that's really where a lot of the work of our ministry as priests happen, the relational work. Because essentially, what are we doing as priests when we're working with people? We're establishing a relationship upon which we can build everything else. And if you don't have that strong relationship, then you don't have anything else. So I think in my first year, that's what I don't think I've learned that, but I've just seen the fruit of it more. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I remember that there was not, relief is not the right word, but there was, once I finished my first year, there was a great sense of okay, now I know the cycle. Mm-hmm. And now I can do this. That might be less for you because you still have not experienced like a triduum with like people.
Right, that's true. As a priest,
right.
I have done that as a deacon or something.
Oh dang! Yeah, your first triduum as a priest. Whoa.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, all those in your first year of a priest, everything is a first, and it can be kind of draining, really. At least I found it to be. First time doing everything, hearing confessions, first time doing weddings, doing quinceañeras. I didn't do any quinceañeras my first year, but all those things that were meeting with wedding couples, doing funerals. Everything was new, and I was a chaplain as well, and trying to figure out what does a high school look like, and how does that work. My first year, like as a chaplain, that was all kind of a blur because I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was just trying to get a sense of how to be a priest and how to be a chaplain. So, like that those kids that graduated from the class of 2004, that was my first year as a chaplain. I don't remember those kids, most of them as well, because I only had the 1 year with them. But after that, 5, 6, 7, those next 3 years I was there, I got to know the kids a lot better. So. But yeah, so all kinds of things. So all kinds of good things to learn there. With the move of Ascension to Sunday, you lose the 9 days that established the novena. Yes, indeed you do.
You lose some of the symbolism with the 40 days and 50 days and all that.
Yeah,
it's true. You're not wrong.
Also,
the bishops did it.
Thank you, Abe, for chiming in about the restaurant. Parlor Food Hall.
Parlor Food Hall. Okay.
Go check it out. Well, not right now because it's probably not open.
But then later. Susan also mentioned curling is with the broom and stones and ice. Yes, but there's also shuffleboard that's on like cruise ships and stuff. But that is also called shuffleboard.
That is true.
And I went with Father Greg.
There's no shuffling though in the table shuffleboard. It's kind of confusing name.
It is true.
Right.
So when you said shuffleboard, I was picturing like the broom thing because you shuffle.
Right.
But
you do have that thing that you scoot the things along, and so Father Greg and I went on a cruise.
I just realized it's a good thing you didn't think of the truffle shuffle. You could have thought of that too. The truffle shuffle. Yeah, from the truffle shuffle. Everyone here knows the truffle shuffle.
Time to get educated.
About the Goonies.
Oh, the
truffle shuffle. Yeah.
I'm still lost.
I rewatched the Goonies.
It's a lot more of an intense film than I remember it being.
It's a lot less of a good film than I remember.
I mean, it's quite goofy. It's quite goofy.
Well, maybe that's... Yes. It's, yeah, maybe it's not as, yeah. It's not as exciting as I remembered it. I watched... In fact,
Really?
I don't think I could finish it.
I watched it with a friend, actually a couple months ago. And we were surprised at how intense it is. Every scene, there's like a billion things going on in the frame. Goonies, ever see that? Yes,
yeah,
chunk. You see?
I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I was.
Well, you exceed an unpopular opinion. I'm just joking.
That's true. That's something I excel at. Yes. Yeah. That's
I'm just teasing.
That's true. Yeah. No, don't come to me for movie recommendations because my sense of movies is not very good. I have a poor sense of good taste in movies.
So before I totally bring the conversation away from what you were saying, do you have any recollection of what you were saying before I interrupted you with the Goonies reference?
Shuffleboard.
Oh, just shuffle. It was just shuffle. We went on a cruise, and Father Greg and I went on a cruise. Nothing much. We played a game of shuffleboard, the original shuffleboard, on a cruise ship because we gotta play shuffleboard.
I don't know if I'd ever want to go on a cruise. Like the only exposure I have is like seeing videos of cruise ships tilting and furniture falling over, and now people are
That was from Titanic.
stuck on them. No, not in a way, but like they're in serious storms.
I mean, every cruise doesn't end with the ship crashing into an iceberg and going down to the bottom of the ocean.
No, yeah. I guess that's technically.
I don't know if I'd ever go on a cruise.
What is the link? I don't see the full link from Dom there.
It's the Goonies are back. They're reunited apart with Josh Gad. I saw something on there. It was a YouTube about the Goonies getting back together. Yeah, I have a problem with. See, I don't really like. That's why you might like the language. Yes, there's a lot of bad language.
There was one scene / joke that my friend and I were shocked at. It was. I'm not going to reference it.
I don't really like watching kids swearing. I think I have a problem with that.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like Super 8 for that reason. I don't like. I've Stand By Me. Maybe I don't remember that one so much. Goonies.
We were not expecting that kind of it to be as edgy as it is.
Maybe that was part of it.
It's a little edgy, and the scenes are just intense. Every scene, there's like a billion things going on. It's quite interesting. I'm not advocating the film. It's just an American classic that I just referenced.
So I went on. Yeah, I've been on one cruise. Cruise lines may never reopen, so you might have missed your chance. But I never. I never really thought to be on a cruise. I always thought they were like kind of ritzy, and they are quite ritzy, but they aren't as expensive as I was expecting them. Especially if you're like split the cost with another person, like Father Greg and I had shared a room there, and I was a board game cruise. That was why I went, and so there was a bunch of. So we didn't just sit around and. Well, I didn't just sit around and read books. Father Greg just went on runs and read books and stuff, but I got together with people and played games, and it was really fun. So
I had a good friend of mine's parents went on a cruise recently, but his mom worked for this insurance company, and they just decided, let's go on a company cruise. And so they were on this cruise. They had a tiny, very dinky room with a horrible view. It like looked out onto the side of a lifeboat.
Oh yeah.
And no space inside. They were
Don't
playing.
You just love waking up in the morning and seeing the light boat out your window.
They played bingo on the ship, and they won bingo, and their win was a free, massive upgrade. And so they got this huge room, like a suite, with a personal butler and a fully stocked fridge.
Whoa!
And when he told me, I was so thrilled, because I was like, your parents really deserve that. That's phenomenal.
Wow.
But I would want that to be a cruise I go on.
Well,
but start in the dinky room, play bingo, and then get the massive.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Come to the higher seat at the table.
Exactly. However, when I learned on my cruise, I mean, we just had an interior room, but we were in the room to sleep, and that was basically it, because there was nothing else. There was so much to do outside the ship, and you want to go sit on the deck or whatever. So it was basically go in there, sleep, change, maybe take a nap, rest, whatever. But
yeah,
if you're spending time in your room on a cruise, you're doing it wrong mostly.
Probably.
Gosh, wouldn't every image I see of like an outdoor area of a cruise ship that's packed. I
don't get worried about sunburns.
There's plenty of shaded areas. Yeah.
Are there? Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the things that I was impressed about this cruise. So I went on this cruise, Royal Caribbean, and again, the only reason I went, and I probably wouldn't go otherwise, was because there was something for me to do, because I really like board games, and there was established community there. So not the whole cruise, but there was like 500 people there that were part of this board game group. Mm-hmm. But what I was noticing is there were so many areas. I wanted to be in all the areas at once, because there was like this bar that was way up top. There was the outside of the cruise. There was this. There were like a couple decks that you could go on. And one of my favorite memories of the cruise was sitting on this pretty much uninhabited deck.
Nice.
Down there, and someone was working on painting the rail, and it was just watching the worker just sitting out there. Was this nice cool breeze, and I mean, it wasn't like hard labor. Somebody was just painting the rail or whatever, and I was just sitting there reading a book, and it was just very peaceful. So there's you can if you just have to find those spots, and it's.
I would be down for.
It was not crowded.
I guaranteed that being a chance.
Yeah.
not
So-
crazy crowded.
So interesting. I want to follow up on something that's going on in the chat right now.
What's going on?
Teresa Morgan mentioned that she feels like old PG movies, especially from the 80s, today would get a PG-13 rating.
Absolutely.
I think that's totally right, but I think it shows an interesting quality. So first of all, PG-13 didn't exist then, so
Right.
that's partly why. But second of all, in some ways we've gotten more sensitive to things as a society, in other ways we've gotten way more permissive.
Sure.
So there are some jokes that you could not make even in a PG-13 movie in some of these movies.
Sure.
In Goonies, there's one joke in particular that I was like, "Whew, hello there." That's not. It wouldn't be today. It would not be funny for us to joke about kids joking about what they were joking about.
Right. There was something about mocking disabilities or something.
Mocking disabilities, a sexual joke about like a 12-year-old at one point in it, which really threw me off because it really creeped me out. So we were totally more sensitive about some things, and yet you can watch things that are way worse on normal television. Way worse in another way,
Right, yeah,
way more blatant. I don't want to say it's worse because they're both bad.
Right.
But it's interesting how we've gotten both way more permissive in other ways and way more sensitive in others.
It is.
I wonder what that. I feel like you could tease the distinction out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. That's definitely true.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a good solution to this problem, but I'm curious what there's something there.
Right.
How can we be more permissive about these other things and then become so much more sensitive about these other things, recognizing that equally they're bad.
Right.
Not saying that either one is better than the other one, but
I used to check frequently, and it was either in the R70 Visitor or it was in the 11 back in the day of the USCCB rating system. I used to be a big fan of that. That's what our family always used. Was they have the A1 through I think it's A4 and then O. And then they also in their articles, and I think I haven't looked at those much recently, but when I was a chaplain, I used to post those actually for like the current movies. What does the bishop say? And use this for your own information. So morally offensive, if a movie was rated O, it was basically don't go see this. There's no reason you should go see this. The A4, or it used to be called L, or it's now called L. It used to be called A4. I don't remember what that was.
yeah, their system doesn't make sense to me.
It makes sense to me. So the L, the A4 was adults with reservations, I think, is what that was. And that's like, there are some serious problems morally with this movie. However, there are some really good. So like maybe something like, what was that movie that we saw, the war movie? It was 1917? Is that the war movie?
Yeah, it was a war movie recently.
That might get something like an L because it's really violent and there's some really troubling things in there, and you don't want to take your kids to see it.
But the themes of it are not necessarily pro-war. They're not necessarily
right. And so A1 is like open to everybody. A2 and so was the next level, and A3 was I think for adults or something. And so when I was growing up as a kid, we were allowed to see up to A3 movies, I believe, with our parents or whatever. So that's what we used as our system. If a movie was rated O, you can't go see it. Which is interesting because I remember that when I was in middle school, Little Shop of Horrors got an O rating.
Oh, did it?
And some of my friends were watching Little Shop of Horrors, and I, being trying to be this upstanding moral kid, I said, I can't watch this movie. I have to go into the other room, and they
That
mocked
plant
me.
eats people. That is offensive.
Well,
And I'm just joking.
I think that the
I've never seen the movie.
yeah. Well, I'm not that's it because I have seen it since, and I'm not sure if I would agree with that necessarily rating. Maybe I have to see it again, but I think that there were some problems with the dentist and with the foul mouth plant and those things. So.
You see, I never liked the USCCB rating scheme because I thought sometimes they could focus on the details and miss the big picture. I found their reviews, at least the ones that I read when I was in college, I found their reviews often lacked the nuance that were.
Well, I think that they used to be better. And
Really?
that's the thing. I think they've gone downhill quite a bit.
Because you're probably right about that, but I think they gave Nacho Libre an O or something like that, and it was all because it was mocking religious life or something like that. But nobody who was actually in religious life thought the movie was offensive. We thought it was all tongue in cheek and fun, and there are some certain themes in there. But I remember reading that and it was like, well, I feel like you're missing the whole point. It's a comedy film, and they're not being disrespectful to these things necessarily.
But that's actually one of the reasons I did not see, because that's a fairly old movie, and I did not see Nacho Libre because it got an
Are
O.
you still not?
I have not.
I'm not
Oh,
a
man.
huge fan of Nacho Libre or anything.
Me
but
either.
but-
But one of the new deacons will die for
Yeah.
the movie Nacho Libre. Mhm.
Deacon Thomas Maddock loves that movie.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
loves that movie.
Yeah.
So, but I've read other ones that I feel like they focus on some of the details and they miss the whole point of it.
Sure.
And so I've always wondered if there were a better sense. I wonder if Common Sense Media is better.
Yeah, Common Sense Media, that's a good recommendation. So, yeah, I think that might be better, the Common Sense Media, because it does kind of, because I think some of them like break down like what is offensive and what's kind of the ranking, and like is it because of profanity, is it because of sexuality, is it because of violence, whatever.
Right.
So yeah. So yeah, if you have families, I think it's important to watch what's coming in. And I don't think that the our country's rating system is necessarily always helpful for
No.
parents to decide whether this is something that their Catholic kids should be watching.
Right.
We're running a little bit long, boy.
We are,
It's,
so
yeah,
yeah,
so
that
we
we're
probably
having a
need to watch Nacho Libre. Well, maybe.
Maybe. I'm not advocating.
You don't
Deacon
have
Maddock
to.
loves it.
But Deacon Thomas Maddock will be.
I think I've seen it once, so I know some of the jokes, but I don't even remember much of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Are we here tomorrow?
Yes.
What's that?
Are we here tomorrow?
Yes, we are here tomorrow.
Okay, great.
We have a funeral tomorrow that Father Kent will be not saying, but he'll be assisting with, trying to make sure everything's set up. So he will have to leave probably halfway through tomorrow,
Right.
and then you'll just be stuck with the two of us. So,
So,
sorry.
Father Francis Hund actually has the funeral. He's a relative of Teresa Ailey. So. That's what I'll be taking care of tomorrow. And then there was something else. Oh, next week, remember that we've not missed a day of Fireside Chat since we began, whatever that was, March 16th or something like that.
Sure.
So,
That's amazing. What?
yeah.
Wow.
two straight months,
Right.
not a day missed.
Monday through
Holy
Friday.
moly.
So we're going to miss a couple days because it's Memorial Day and we're thinking people might be doing other things anyway. And then Tuesday, so normally in non-pandemic times, I normally take Mondays off. You usually take Tuesdays off. And so we're going to take Monday and Tuesday Fireside Chat off. And then the rest of the there will be nothing at all on Monday. And
Nothing.
then nothing. And then we'll have Mass. The first thing on Tuesday will be Mass at 6. So give us a little bit of extended time there. So,
Perfect.
so anyway, but we will be back tomorrow, and we'll see you there.
Thank you all so much. God bless you all.